Crown Innergy. Crown Innergy. Yeah, you special, you know it. Truly, it's a blessing how you just gon' walk in your purpose. Hard to match your energy just by the way that you going. That Crown Energy. Yeah, I watch you grow like a flower.
Hello, Crown Energy family. Welcome back to the channel. And on today's video's topic, we're going to be talking about how childhood beliefs shapes your adulthood. Now, have you ever had that unsettling feeling deep down that no matter how hard you try, you keep reliving the same scenarios? Maybe it's just a belief that you're not good enough or that you have to struggle to be worthy. Perhaps it's something telling you that you don't deserve success or happiness. Now, for a long time, I felt like I was constantly battling that myself, the self doubt, procrastination, the sense of unfulfillment, even when things seemed fine. And I know so many of us, especially working moms and wives, we carry the silent burdens. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most yet powerful overlooked forces shaping our adult lives, our childhood beliefs. These aren't just cute memories, they are the unseen development of your mindset. So let's start with these beliefs and what they really are. So think of your mind, especially as a child. You're like a super absorbent sponge, and everything you heard, felt, and were told got soaked in. And because your critical thinking wasn't fully developed, you process these experiences as absolute truth. Now, I'm going to be using Raised in the South because I can relate, and I know some of you can too. And I'm sure in other places as well. But let's start there. When we were kids, do you remember when our parents told us to, well, be quiet and hush your mouth or don't talk back? Well, as an adult, that can sometimes become I keep my mouth shut even when something bothers me. Instead of speaking up, you convince yourself your feelings don't matter, which can also sound like I don't want to cause problems. This can show up as struggling to set boundaries, staying in unhealthy friendships, relationships, or not asking for that raise you 100% deserve, and holding everything inside until you finally explode. We've all had that moment, right? So these memories, they become the subconscious programs running in the background of our lives. Now ask yourself, what messages did you internalize about money, success, love, or even your own worth? When you were a kid, think about the moment when you first felt like you weren't smart enough, you weren't pretty enough, you weren't good enough. That's often a belief taking root. It came from somewhere. It just don't fester on its own. As children, talking back often meant questioning an adult, explaining yourself, or defending your perspective. As an adult, you may find yourself avoiding conflict at all costs, letting people disrespect you, feeling intimidated by authority figure, second guessing yourself after expressing an opinion, and feeling like standing up for yourself is somehow being disrespectful. Eventually, the voices around you become the voice inside you. Our parents and grandparents, whoever took on the role, often raised us, was only doing what they believed was right. To them, respect meant obedience. Survival meant staying out of trouble. Speaking up could bring consequences, and they weren't necessarily trying to take away our voices. Many of them were teaching what had been taught to them. Now, I want you to hear me out and hear me out clearly. I'm not here to blame whomever it was that stepped up and took on that role of our upbringing because most of them were doing the very best with what they could, with what they knew. But just because a belief helped you survive as a child doesn't mean it's meant to guide you for your entire life. Now, some of us learn how to stay quiet, stay safe. Some of us learn that explaining ourselves was disrespectful. Some of us learn to shrink ourselves to avoid conflict. And years later, we're wondering why we struggle to use our voice, set boundaries, or believe in ourselves. Sometimes the very beliefs that protected us as children are the same beliefs preventing us from becoming who we were meant to be. Now, with that all being said, I am grateful for that kind of upbringing because it truly had positive impact in my adulthood throughout my life. Even with raising my own children, I just think I approach it differently and I do give my children space to say how they feel and I give them a chance to explain themselves. Now, how do these deeply ingrained childhood beliefs manifest today? They don't just disappear, they show up as your adult patterns of self sabotage, the procrastination, the perfectionism, and self doubt. When we feel stuck in survival mode, weighed down by the invisible chains of these old stories, it's because those old scripts are still playing in the background and we don't even notice it. It's when we feel that familiar emotional feeling of guilt for pursuing our dreams. I mean, can you believe that? Feeling guilty for pursuing your own dreams. Or there's that fear of judgment. That's that childhood belief at work. But the good news is, once we understand all these things, we can change the program. The first step is awareness. This isn't about blaming your past. It isn't about blaming someone else. It's about understanding so you can step into your power. How do we uncover these beliefs? Start by listening to your internal conversation, especially in moments of stress, failure, or when you're pushing through something. What's that little voice saying? Is it saying, can't do this? It's too hard. I'm not good enough? Another powerful exercise is to consider your reoccurring emotional patterns. Do you feel anxious about money? Do you constantly seek approval? Trace these feelings back. What's the earliest memory you've associated with that feelings? Write it down. When did you first decide that this was true about yourself or the world? It's not about judging, it's about observing it. That moment, everything starts to change. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where you finally get the chance to rewrite the story you've been living. So once you've identified a belief, you get to challenge it. Is it truly a universal truth or just a story you've adopted? For example, if your belief is, I have to be perfect to be loved, you can start by asking yourself, is that really true? Have I ever been loved imperfectly? Can I love myself, my imperfections, and all? You begin to replace the old beliefs with new ones. Instead of, I'm not good enough, you might replace it with, I'm learning and I'm growing, and I am worthy as I am. This involves conscious repetition, seeking evidence for your new belief, and taking small steps, taking small actions. That contradicts the old story. Every time you choose to speak up, invest in yourself, or pursue a passion, you're not just doing an action, you're actively rewriting your core beliefs. You're shifting from simply surviving to actively thriving in your purpose. Now, do me a favor in the comments and share with me one childhood belief that showed up in your adulthood, and then I want you to rewrite it. Take what resonates, leave what don't, and always honor what feels true and aligned for you. Take care.
Yeah, that